welcome back to the Slay Your Day podcast. I'm so excited because today's episode is one that I've gotten so much feedback from you guys. And this is the yearly and quarterly planning calendar that you've seen me do on Instagram with my hubby. And what I want to do is break down for you exactly how we do it and some tips on how to do it, because this has been the best thing for scheduling upcoming travel, business, Jake's school schedule or camp schedules or vacations. Like if you want to get your business partners, your husband, your spouse, your wife on the same page as you, literally, this is what you're going to want to do. So if you're ready to dive in, get out a pen, get out a paper, or better yet, get out your calendar. I've got mine. I'm going to walk you through if you're going to actually see what this looks like. So let's dive into the yearly and quarterly calendar planner. Now, I like to call this the sexy calendar because the reason why is Jarrod and I every month have a Jarrod and Sandi relationship day. And the really cool thing about this is time for just us. We have our days, you've heard me talk about it, where we do family dinner nights, where we have family date nights. But this day is just for Jarrod and I to have time for ourselves. And also the really nice thing with this is my husband gets really excited. Like Jarrod gets really excited to have these planning days because I make it fun. Like, ladies, if you want your man to do something, you gotta make it fun for them. So, okay, how do I make this fun? So we know that there's a lot of planning that goes into this. However, one of my little secret weapons is not only do I make it sexy, like, we go out and we have a spa day and then we have lunch and then I bring out the calendar and then we have this whole setup that we do, but it's in the setting. Like you have to think about what is going to get your spouse or your partner excited. I know for me, when my husband is relaxed and he's just had a massage, not this month because I've challenged Jarrod to go with no alcohol for a month for my birthday. So not this month did we have champagne when we did this, but in the beginning in January, we had a glass of champagne, we had lunch, it was sexy, it was a sexy, fun time. Okay. So make it fun. Like maybe you go to the park, maybe you go to the beach if you're close enough to a beach, maybe you go to the spa like we do, but make it fun because the more fun you have, the more fun he's going to have. So you gotta set the tone. That is the first part of this. You got to set the tone, make it sexy, pick your destination. For us, we've always done a spa. So we go to the spa and this is the flow of the day. So we go to the spa, and before I even go, I bring my calendar and I bring my color-coded markers. You can see there's a legend here to follow, and it's color-coded. Orange is family, blue is Jarrod work, purple is Sandi or pageant, and then green is Jake in school. Also Jordy, depending on, what they have. Could be doctor's appointments, things like that. So green, Jake, and Jordy. So this is just a desk calendar. I think I got this at maybe Office Max. And then you're going to get your markers. You're going to get your markers to color code them. So for us, we do family, Jarrod, Sandi, and then Jake and Jordy. So you got to get your colors, you got to get your calendar, and then you put that in your bag, and you get a big enough bag to take with you that you can just put it over your shoulder and pack your purse and your lip gloss and your ID and throw everything in there. So you take that and then you go to the place. So for us, we go to the spa. You check in, you're wearing, for me, I wear a bathing suit. We go get our massages. We do a 90-minute long massage, and then you're overlooking the beach and the water, and it's just so relaxing. So the destination, ladies, this is a big tip. The destination matters, okay? The view matters, the scenery matters, who you're around matters. And you want it to be private. You don't want to be in a busy, crowded restaurant doing this where you can't hear each other. So get a sexy location, make it fun. Like I said, usually we have a glass of champagne when we do this. After our massages, we have lunch, and then we sit down and we get to business. Now, this is the planning, okay? This is the meat of what you want to dive into with the planning. So for us, and I'm going to just show you the month of March, because obviously March is over, but we already have, you're going to see there's May. So this is already the month of May. And you can see that there's arrows, things crossed off, because when we did this in the beginning of the year, year, we thought, maybe the relationship day was going to be here on the 13th, but it ended up being here on the 27th because the way schedule and, things just turned out. So the key is when you do this in the beginning of the year, you do the whole year. You go January through December. However, as you go quarter by quarter, so you go January, February, March, then you have April, May, June, quarter by quarter, then you start to reevaluate the calendar. So we did this we did our monthly. So now that we've already gone through May, and I'm going to use May as an example for those of you that are watching on, that there's arrows, there's things that are crossed off, there's things that are moved, because in the beginning of the year, we thought it was going to be one thing and then it changed to something else. So now what we do, because now we're in the month of May at the time of recording this, but when you hear this, we're already going to be in June. So then what Jarrod and I did is we looked at June, July, and August. So we looked at the entire summer, because the summer is a little bit, it's just not as structured as the rest of the year, because school and schedules and, just with, the time that Jay goes to school, it's more of a structure just based on the fact that he's in school. So then what we did is if I go to June, July, and August, now I'm looking at the calendar and we're moving things around. Like maybe where we thought vacation was going to be, the dates have changed. For us, everything goes in here. I'm not going to show you guys June because obviously this is our personal calendar, but I'm going to show you May just to get the idea of what it looks like. So for example, we had family in town here. So we put this in blue, this was Jarrod's side of the family. I mean, it's my family too, but so we did who was coming into town visiting us from start to finish. We thought our relationship day was going to be on the 13th, but we moved it here to the 27th. Boot camp for Jarrod, a workshop for Jarrod. Blue here for Jarrod, it says he's in Toronto for the day. So for me, as I'm scheduling things, we have a family photo shoot coming up this coming weekend for Father's Day. And if Jarrod was out of town, I wouldn't be able to schedule these things. So it could be anything. It could be a meeting with a teacher. It could be a family date night. It doesn't matter what your schedule is. For us, it's very, very systemized. It's very clear what is where. And the reason why we do this on a piece of paper is because number one, we can visually see it. When you have this on a Google Calendar or when you have this, synced up, that is our final. We do it on the big calendar first, and then we go to Google Calendar and our calendars are synced up. But then we can go to the Google Calendar and say, okay, now, this is when so-and-so is coming into town, or this is when we have our family photo shoot, or this is when Sandi's traveling, or Jake has a day off from school. Do you see how it makes everything so much easier? Being that it's on a physical calendar, number one, you can color code it because we color code it also on our Google calendars, but it also makes it then easier to go into the actual, wherever you sync your calendars up electronically, and put everything on there. And then the bonus on top of this is everyone in our house can see this on our command center. It's all here. Everybody can see it, from the nanny that we have that helps in our house to my in-laws, Jarrod, myself, it's all there and it's all together. So what I would suggest for you, a couple little pointers are, number one, make it fun and sexy. So your spouse wants to get on board and actually do this with you, because Jarrod gets very excited and loves doing this. And number two, make this a check-in for the relationship. So we'll go through the calendar, and after we look at the dates and travel and school schedules and what do we want to add, what do we want to take off, that's another good point too. They're not only maybe dates that you need to change, but you may want to revisit, okay, well, for us, if we're going to travel in August, where are we going? What does that look like? We said we wanted to go to, Hawaii, but maybe now we're going to go to Italy, or maybe we're going to go to Switzerland, or whatever it is. That's just our personal, conversations that we have about how are things changing? Did the dates change? Did anything change from the last time that we looked over this? Okay. So you're going to just revisit all of that. And then my third point is, what's really cool is we also do a relationship check-in. How are you doing? How am I doing? How can I better support you? How can you better support me? What do we have coming up that we need to know about? We're just going over these little check-ins of all the things that are coming up, but how are we doing with each other? What do we need more from each other? What do we want? How can we better support the person? And it's just that nice little relationship check-in that you don't get when the kids are running around and screaming, if you're out at a dinner or at home or whatever the case may be. It's just really nice to have that time to sit down, get everything laid out, and then have that connection time. So that's how we do it. And it's really easy. It's straightforward. It's simple, but we make it fun. And I think that's probably the biggest key in all of this is just make it fun. I call it sexy because it's like for us, we do the spa, we do a little bit of champagne and lunch and connection time, but you can make it however you want to make it, like whatever is best for you and your partner. But for Jarrod and I, not only does it physically get us on the same page, but now we can kind of troubleshoot a little bit what's going on. Where do we feel like super connected or maybe not as connected? How do we get back on the same page? What do I need help with? What does he need help with? What's coming up? So it's kind of like a full 360 of not only events that are coming up, but just little check-ins that you can do with your spouse. And then like a bonus tip on top of this would be come prepared with questions that you want to have conversation with your spouse. I just will go online and I'll Google these, like what are good conversation starters to have with my husband or my wife. And it's not just like, what's going on right now or what are we looking forward to? What are we grateful for? Because of course, all those things are important, but it just dives a little bit deeper into better conversation. And who doesn't want better conversation? Like one of the things personally, Jarrod and I have said that we want to work on more in our relationship is like deeper communication. And the only way to get deeper communication is to ask better questions and have better conversations. So that's something, because you feel like you know everything about your spouse. You feel like you know mostly about like, Jarrod and I have been together for almost 10 years. I feel like I know almost everything about him and probably vice versa for him. But these questions like go deeper and they're just not surface level conversations. So I would say in addition to the planning and the check-ins, have some questions prepared that are going to allow you to go deeper with your spouse and really make it like a great connection point and time for you guys to have together. So those are my 3 tips for the planning, for the calendar. It's really just straightforward, but the 3 tips that I would say is revisit it every month if you want, or every quarter, depending on how much things are changing. Make it fun. And then the third piece is come to the table with the content and the conversations that you want to talk about. And how do you want things to stay the same or change or be better supported? And again, Google some questions, Google some like conversation relationship starter questions, and you'll get like tens or hundreds of them that can come up, and just pick and choose. Maybe you pick 3 and you're like, okay, we're going to dive in and just like talk about this. And maybe you get into one question and it's like that question carries the whole lunch that you have or dinner or whatever. Or maybe you have a couple and you just kind of pick and choose the ones that you talk about. But this is the system that I wanted to share with you guys. Every time I post this, I get such great feedback about what it is and how we do it. But every time we do it, I feel like we add something like more fun or just like better. It just gets better every time that we do it. And we really started this like the end of last year. So really the end of like 2022 is when we started the calendar system. And then beginning of January is when we full on brought out the calendar, brought out the markers, did the, massages, did the lunch. And I just love that like my husband also loves doing it too, because if you're like me and you're the planner, it's hard to get a partner who's not the planner on board with what you're doing. So that's why I suggest making it fun, making it sexy, making it something that they want to do, massage, beach, coffee date. But my only tip for that is like, make sure that you're somewhere private so you can actually have conversations and it's not like busy restaurant or like a movie theater. Obviously you can't talk in the movies. So you don't want to be anywhere that you can't have great conversation or it's too loud and you can't hear the person. So go somewhere private and just like map it all out. If you guys saw my Instagram, like we had lunch, but Jarrod and I like brought out the calendar and had the colors and cleared off the table. So you definitely need the space as well to do this. And again, it's just like super fun to get on the same page and have the dates, really have the content for you to support you over the next few months to make sure everything is in alignment and no balls are dropped. That's the biggest thing, is like making sure everybody needs to be where they need to be. You have the support where you need it to be. Like if I'm traveling, what is, Jake's pickup schedule or drop off schedule look like? But again, even that being said, like, because I need extra help and support from everyone, in our camp, that's something that everybody knows it's on the schedule. And we just have more hands on deck to support pickups, drop offs, sports after school, things like that. So I hope this episode was helpful. Please share this with at least one other mompreneur who you know is juggling work and home and babies and career and self-care and all the things, because the more that we can spread this knowledge and the support and the systems that we know work and that you implement and you start to see working really well for you, this is just going to help so many moms out there. And that is my mission, that we have moms that are feeling aligned and connected and supported in everything and anything that you do. And not just moms, but obviously I have a sweet spot for moms because I am a mom and I run a business and I'm a wife and I wear all these hats. So anyone that's really looking to maximize their productivity, tap into their full potential and slay their day. So until next time, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, and I will see you on the next episode of Slay Your Day.